remarkable event occurs. There's a nation that influences the Jewish people to engage in all sorts of acts of immorality and worship idols. And God comes to Moses and says, Moses, gather your troops, go to war against that people and take my vengeance. This is not a war for land or oil. This is a war because this other nation had imposed a negative influence, spiritual influence on the Jews. It's very difficult for the Western mind to grapple because to us, we're not used to this concept that spiritual survival and physical survival are really one and the same. Reality is, if you were sitting in Starbucks and you looked over, you saw a person, they perhaps were a little depressed or lonely, or maybe they were doing an action that was leading them to a spiritually dark place, or maybe no place at all. We would say, you know what? Leave them be. Their life is their life. My life is my life. In other words, I really don't care. However, if the person would slit their hand and blood would be spurting, you'd go, call a medic, call a doctor, That's because we are so much more real with physical pain than we are with spiritual pain. In 1938, a group of young children escaped Nazi Germany and went to London. The chief rabbi of London at that time was raising money in order to place these young children with religious families so they would grow up knowing what it meant to be Jewish. He went to one philanthropist and said, please give some money. And the philanthropist said, no, Rabbi, I'm not interested. The rabbi said, what do you mean? This is saving lives. The philanthropist said, Rabbi, use that expression sparingly, please. I remember when I was young, my family, very religious, completely Sabbath observant. We wouldn't speak on the phone, we wouldn't get into a car. My sister was very ill, and the rabbi told us that it's a mitzvah to break Shabbos, to pick up the phone, call an ambulance in order to save my sister's life. That's saving someone's life. These children, they're out of Nazi Germany, they're fine. Well, that Friday night, while that philanthropist was sitting around his Shabbos table with his family, the phone rang incessantly. He said, there must be some kind of emergency. He picks it up. Who is it? It's the chief rabbi of London saying, you know, I wouldn't pick up the phone unless this was a matter of saving lives. If these children don't grow up knowing what it means to be Jewish, they won't be part of the Jewish people, and we're saving lives. The person then said, okay, Rabbi, I get the point. And of course, he gave a donation. We've got to understand, spiritual survival, physical survival, to us it's all the same. When we look out, not only do we have to make sure that our brethren's physical needs are taken care of, but we have to search out and make sure that our brethren, our Jewish brethren, are learning what it means to be Jewish and being connected.